I'm joined now by artist Kelly Bramer. Kelly, thank you for being here. I have to be completely honest. When I first read that I was interviewing you and that you are a car artist,
Yeah,
I was thinking, I don't have any interest in cars. Then I started looking at your stuff and I was like, whoa, hold on. This stuff is incredible. So I want to talk all about that, but which came first, your love of cars or your artistry?
First of all, thank you for having me on.
Sure.
This is really great. First of all, art came first.
Okay.
So from as early as I can remember, I would sit on my mom's lap while she was painting. So my mom was an artist also. And even from a toddler age, toddlers are usually running around, getting into everything, and I would sit for hours patiently on my mom's lap, not moving, not wanting to mess up what she was doing, just kind of soaking it all in.
Wow. Were you painting as well or just watching?
Just watching at that point.
Wow.
But I feel like pretty early on, probably from the time I could hold a pencil, I had a pencil or a crayon in my hand. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an architect. And then I had a really good architectural teacher in high school who kind of led me into car design. And maybe there's more that you can do outside of just architecture.
Yeah.
So I started researching it, and I kind of got into cars at the Fast and Furious movement.
Sure.
Back in about 20 years ago or so, and that really sucked me in.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, maybe I can combine this love of cars with my love of art and maybe do something with it.
Incredible. So was your direction to design actual physical cars, or did you always know that you wanted it to be an artistic venture in terms of painting, drawing, sketching?
It started out as really wanting to do car design, and I had gotten hooked up with a local company that did custom aftermarket car stuff in college, did some freelance work for them. And once I got out of college, that job kind of fizzled out. The company didn't work out so great. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I have this love of art and cars. I can kind of create my own destiny with this and create the beauty I want to see, and hopefully others will see the beauty in it as well.
Yeah, I was reading that you said you love to capture cars that we are all seeing on the street now, but also our fathers and our grandfathers. How similar are cars throughout the design of cars throughout the ages?
Oh, it completely changes almost by the decade. Like you can trace car design from what they started out as basically a buggy that we in Northeast Indiana see on the road all the time with just a small engine on it to back in the 20s with Henry Ford, they finally put bodies on them and fenders. The 30s, you get into Art Deco and streamlining. So a lot of like what is shown in the painting behind us here, those are from the Art Deco era. The 40s cars were a little bit more bulbous, had a little bit more design to them. The 50s were the tail fin era. If you see cars with big tail fins, that's what era that came from. 60s were muscle cars. 70s and 80s got a little bit more into the wedge-shaped futuristic design, and that's when Star Wars and some of these other futuristic movies came out.
Sure.
The 90s got a little bit more rounded, and now we're kind of more into the futuristic to us, and someday it'll be classic cars now.
So what is your favorite era of car?
Oh, my favorite era would have to be the Art Deco era. I love my favorite all-time car is an Auburn 851 Speedster, the boat tail Speedster, as a lot of us refer to them as. The design, the flowing lines of it is just, to me, just perfection. And when you think of these cars were not stamped out on a production line, they were hand-formed by craftsmen, and it took a very, very long time to create these.
Okay, so as an artist, you work with all types of different media. What is your favorite medium to work in? Do you even have a preference?
I would say acrylic painting is probably my favorite, just because of the color and the freeness that you can get with it. I'd say pencil drawing is probably my second favorite. I do a lot of graphic design and digital work as well for myself and for clients. So, I mean, I would say acrylic, those definitely tops for me.
How do you feel like your artistry has evolved from, well, from childhood even? I mean, obviously, you grow and improve, but how do you feel like you have really grown as an artist?
I feel like my work has become more sophisticated as I've gotten along. My understanding of color theory and lighting it's an ever improving, ever evolving knowledge. As an artist, I don't feel like you're ever truly a master. You're going to be learning your entire life, and that's in everything from your drawing ability to your ability to mix and throw paint on a canvas.
Yeah. You mentioned that you do a lot of work digitally. Tell me what a day in the life is like? Do you have to find time to paint, or are you able to fit that into a work day as well? What does that look like?
So I do work a regular 9-to-5 job. I have a young, active family and a household. And so my time to create art now is quite limited. So that kind of has to fit in when it's available. Right now it's maybe an hour to 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So big works take a lot longer. So I'm learning to focus on some smaller works now.
Yeah, I relate to the limited time and trying to carve out that time. Is it hard to find the motivation at the right time? Since you have to carve out time, is it like, oh God, I have to make this happen now because this is all the time I have? Or are you excited to dive in?
It sometimes does happen that way, where it is like, okay, I have an hour, I have 2 hours, and you want to do it and you're just not feeling it.
Yes.
So it's strange because some people think an artist can just turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah.
And you somewhat have to be in the mood to make it work and make something that you're proud of.
Yeah. When you are creating, is it a cathartic experience or is it frustrating? Like, what is it like to start a painting and see it through?
To me, it's a euphoric experience. A lot of people are intimidated by white space or white canvas, but from start to finish, I'm really loving the entire process. I have a vision in my head of exactly what I want it to look like, and 9 times out of 10, when I'm done, it exceeds those expectations that I even have for myself.
And are you sketching first, or are you going right in with paint? What does that look like?
I'll sketch, unless I'm doing some sort of abstract, I'm always sketching it out first. In some cases, if it's a very complex work, I'll put together kind of a composition in Photoshop first to make sure that I like the layout of everything, that the colors look right to me, and then I'll go into completely freehand sketching it on the canvas before I start painting.
And are you using a reference photo when you're sketching, or is that living in your brain?
No, I use reference photos.
Okay.
There's so many details, especially with vehicles that I'm sketching, that you can notice when something's fudged on a vehicle.
Yeah. So. Do you know when a painting or a sketch or whatever is finished? Is there a definitive end, or are you constantly futzing with it?
I'll usually get to a point after I say I'm done with a painting or a drawing, maybe 2 days later with it, and I'll say, okay, I'm finally done with it.
Yeah.
But as an artist, I'm always like, I know every single little imperfection in a painting that people see as flawless. And I feel like all artists are that way. So I even look at other artists' works and I'm like, man, that's perfect. And you talk to that artist and they're like, well, this didn't work out, and I'm no different.
Yeah. I'm always interested when I talk to an artist about how much of themselves they want to come through in a painting. And I think especially with your subject matter, that intrigues me. Is there, when someone looks at your work, do you want them to say, oh, that's a Kelly Bramer piece? Or does that part not matter to you and you just want them to appreciate the work?
When I was a younger artist, I really just wanted to replicate the cars. I really wanted to be as realistic as possible. Now the older I've gotten, defining my own style, I'm throwing in more of an abstract background in a lot of my work. So the cars will be mostly realistic. I do like throwing a little bit of surrealism in there, but the backgrounds I do like to kind of throw in as abstract. So your focus is more on the vehicle, but then the colors and the emotions of the background tie everything together.
Yeah, that's when I was doing my research and looking at your work, that's what stood out to me, that yes, it's these beautiful cars and they are, but it's the whole piece. It's the piece as a whole that is really incredible. So I asked you about the hardest part. What's the best part of creating your work?
It's probably that euphoric state that I get into when I'm creating. I shut everything else out, nothing else. I'm not thinking about work or projects or bills or anything like that. It's just me, my music, and my art just vibing together. I might not talk for hours on end, and it's just it helps me relax. It's a great feeling for me.
What has art taught you about yourself?
That you can make anything work that you put your mind to. That you can kind of shape your own destiny. I had no idea when I graduated college years ago that I would be doing this in my spare time. I thought I would be a watch designer or a car interior designer somewhere, but I found a lot of happiness and a lot of joy in creating fine art that people can hang on their wall and enjoy, hopefully forever.
Yeah. Long after the car has
Right.
been sold or whatever. Kelly, your work is so cool. I love seeing your love and appreciation of cars, but also how you make something that people want to hang on their walls. Anyway, thank you so much for being here and for creating your works. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
Arts in Focus on PBS Fort Wayne is funded in part by the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne,